When the wane of the first heaven, which never knew setting nor rising, nor any mist except the veil of sin, stood still, the true company that had come at first between the griffin and it, turned, as to their peace, to the chariot, and one of them, like a herald from heaven, singing, "Come, bride, out of Lebanon," shouted 3 times, and all the rest after him.
I saw at the beginning of the day it was all the color of roses to the east, and a clear sky made beautiful the rest. And the face of the sun emerged shaded, so that, through the mists that tempered it, the eye could rest for a long time upon it. So in a cloud of flowers rising from the angelic hands and again falling into the chariot and around it, wearing an olive wreath on a white veil, a lady appeared to me in a green mantle, and her garments were the color of living flame. And in my spirit, which for so long by then had not been left hopelessly undone, with awe and trembling in her presence, without more knowledge from the eyes, but by an unseen force that was coming from her, I felt the old love in its great power.
And as soon as the high force beat upon my sight, as it had pierced me before I had yet emerged out of my childhood, I turned to the left with the confidence that a little child shows, running to its mother when something has frightened it or troubled it, to say to Virgil, "Not even one drop of blood is left in me that is not trembling. I recognize the signs of the old burning." But Virgil had left us. He was no longer there among us. Virgil, most tender Father, Virgil, to whom I gave myself to save me. Nor did all that our ancient parent had lost have any power to prevent my dew-washed cheeks from running dark with tears.
Dante, because Virgil leaves you, do not weep yet. Do not weep even yet, for you still have another sword that you must weep for.
Like an admiral going from stern to bow to see the men who are in service on them, the other ships to encourage them, so at the left rail of the chariot, when I turned at the sound of my name, which of necessity is here noted, I saw the lady who first appeared to me veiled beneath the angelic festivity turn her eyes to me across the river. Although the veil descending from her head with Minerva's leaves in a wreath around it did not allow her to be seen distinctly, royal and still severe in her bearing, she went on, like someone who in speaking holds back the hottest words to the end.
Look at me well, for I am certainly Beatrice. How did you dare approach the mountain? Did you not know that here man is happy?
My eyes dropped down to the clear spring, but seeing myself there, I drew them to the grass, such shame weighing upon my brow. As a mother may seem harsh to her child, she seemed to me, because the flavor of raw pity, when tasted, is bitter. She was silent. So was I, without tears or sighs, before the singing of those who accord forever with the notes of the eternal spheres. But when I heard how in their sweet tones they sympathized with me, more than if they had said, "Lady, why do you so undo him?" the ice that had been clamped around my breast turned to breath and water, and came forth out of my breast through the eyes and mouth. She, still standing without moving on the same side of the chariot, turned then her words toward the compassionate angels.
You keep watch in the eternal day, so that neither night nor sleep robs you of the one step that the world makes on its way. Therefore my answer is made with greater care, so that he may understand me who is weeping there, of fault and grief may be of the same measure, not only through the working of the great wheels which direct each seed towards some end, depending on what stars accompany it, but through the largesse of divine graces which for their reign have vapors coming from so high that our sight never comes near them. Such potentially was this man in his new life, that every right disposition would have come to marvelous proof in him. But the more vigor there is on the ground, the more rank and tangled grows the land, if the seed is bad and tilling left undone. For a while I sustained him with my face, drawing him with the sight of my young eyes along with me, turned in the right direction. As soon as I was on the dorsal of my second age and changed from one life to another, he took himself from me and gave himself to others. When I had risen from flesh to spirit, and my beauty and virtue had become greater, I was less dear and pleasing to him. And he turned his steps in a way that was not the true one, following false images of good that never yield their full promises. Nor did it do me any good to summon inspirations for him, with which I called him in dreams and otherwise. So little he heeded them. So low he fell that every means which might have saved him had become inadequate, other than showing him the lost people. For that I visited the door of the dead, and to the one who has led him here my prayers, spoken through my tears, were offered. The high decree of God would be broken if Lethe were passed, and such nourishment were to be tasted without any payment, in penitence that is poured out in tears.